Hello, today I will be showing you how to deploy buildbot on hyper.sh. So hyper.sh is a young container as a service company which provides Docker hosting as a service. So this is quite interesting for continuous integration people because they have per second billing, which allows you to run very short term Docker images, Docker containers to do your continuous integration. Continuous integration, usually you are supposed to optimize it so that it's only 2 minutes of testing. So with Hyper, you can put your jobs in parallel so that you can achieve this 2-minute goal, and you will run as many containers as you need in order to do that. So first, as introduction, we can look at the Docker example that is already existing inside buildbot, and it's available on the Docker tutorial on the main documentation. So here I have cloned this example, and I can look at the simple version of it. So there is a docker compose.yaml file here, and I will look at it. Okay, so here basically you have three containers. So the first one is the buildbot master container. It contains the master, and it's connected to the database. And the database itself, it's just a plain standard PostgreSQL database. It exposes the database port, nothing very fancy. And then you have a worker container that is connected to buildbot, and then the buildmaster is buildbot, and the buildmaster port is 9989. And you can see here buildbot is actually the name of the service, and Docker Compose will automatically connect the buildbot link to this link and set up the hostname correctly so that the worker has a way to connect to the buildbot master. And Hyper supports that as well, so it should work well. But I don't want to actually run that. Why? Because this is 3 containers, and those 3 containers will need to be always on in this configuration. So the worker, I only want to start the worker when it's needed. And the database, I don't really care about having a database that stays long. I just want to have my continuous integration running, and I don't care if I am losing it, because it's very easy to restart, and I don't care about the logs in the long term. So what I will do is to just run the buildbot master with a normal SQL database, SQLite database, and not with Postgre database. And I will also run with specific configuration that is buildbot Travis. So buildbot Travis is an implementation of the buildbot Travis workflow, but with buildbot. So it's not as flexible as what you can do with the buildbot framework, but it allows you to configure easily, very easily, a workflow that is suitable for 80% of the CI needs for open source projects. So here, this docker compose.yaml, which runs buildbot Travis, it's just only one container. It's very simple. We don't need to actually run it inside Docker Compose, but for me it's more simple to have Docker Compose YAML in order to describe the environment and in order to describe the port. I find it much more readable rather than the CLI of Docker with -e, -p, blah blah blah. So I just created this docker compose.yaml which runs Travis. and I configured it with this environment variable buildbot URL. It's important that the UI knows which URL it is supposed to be on. This is for cross-site scripting mitigation. So this is more for security that this is needed. And then I have this FIP parameter that allows hypercompose to associate IP address to my container. So this is as simple as that. So I will just run. So I go to Travis. So this is my Docker Compose YAML. So I just hypercompose up. And that's it. It starts the project. Hypercompose down. Hypercompose rem. Hyper.sh. So I just do hypercompose up. We'll just start the buildbot Travis image and hyper very easily. So here I will just leave the logs of the running buildbot. So it's a brand new buildbot here, and then I go to the UI of that buildbot. Okay, this is my FIP address, and the first thing I need to do is to configure the authentication. So there are several kinds of authentication that you can configure: Google, GitLab, GitHub, and just admin password. So here I will just don't bother doing the GitHub OAuth, which is obviously much better, but it requires you to create OAuth2 codes and so on. So it's a little bit more complicated for this example. So let's just put admin password. So I put a very simple admin password. Okay, and then I can connect. I can log in. Now I have this new login box that is automatically happening. Okay, and now I'm connected as administrator. And now I can go to the workers in order to configure the hyperworker. So let's go hyperworker. So I will put a worker base name. So let's say hyperworker, and then I put for worker. Okay. With hyper, you have a quota of the number of parallel worker you can put, and it's just about asking the hyper support if you need to increase your quota. So they are very nice, and they will usually increase your quota quickly. So then I need a hyper auth URL, the access key, and the secret key. Where can I find that? So it's quite simple. I just have to go to the hyper config, and this is where it is stored locally. So obviously I already run the hyper tutorial, so it allowed me to create access key and secret key, and this access key and secret key will only be available during the recording of this video. Okay, so this is the host URL of hyper, and then the access key. Okay, and then secret key. I put a worker size. So you have the list of worker size that is available inside the pricing table. So as you can see, the per second billing is very cheap. So I can even count how much is it. So per hour is 3. It's not even 1 cent an hour. It's really cheap. So if you run a pull request that is only 2 minutes of of load, you can see that it's quite as much as it would be free. Okay, so I just put S3 as the size, and I will have 256 megabytes of memory. And the image name, this is the standard buildbot worker master image that is available on Docker Hub. This is this one. If you want to create your own one, you can, and you can just change it. And interesting property of buildbot Travis is you can also use an image that is depending on the properties. So you could even say I want to use buildbot worker and say image s, and this will actually use the image variable to figure out which image you want to use. So that would be buildbot worker image. Okay, so this is quite more advanced, but this is something that is quite useful if you want to have some more fancy testing. So let's stick with the standard buildbot worker that is useful for our case. And we create this worker. So we save here, and we can see that the configuration update is complete. Okay, so now that the hyper worker is configured, I can then add my project. So for this example, I will run the pflex. So I will configure the pflex project that is available on GitHub under the buildbot account. So this is that one. So what I just need to do is to copy paste the GitHub HTTP URL. So we don't want to do the HTTP, the Git URL or the SSH URL. We want the plain HTTP URL because this is how Travis is made to work. So HTTP, and then the tile I would just put buildbot, and then I need a branch, and I need a GitHub token. So the GitHub token, it can be generated inside GitHub. So here it is. So in settings, token new, I can set up a new token. So pflex reporter, okay, and then repo status. It's the only scopes that I need for this token. And then with this new token, then the buildbot will be able to send CI status in my name. Okay, so usually what you want to do is to create your own account for your bot. So that is what buildbot, for example, has. It has faceless account just for the status API. So let's paste this token in here. The repository is good, the project name is good, it's GitHub, and then we save. Okay, and then I can see that pflex job has been configured and attached for workers. Okay, and then I can go to the builder page, and inside this builder page I can see there is a pflex builder and a pflex try builder and a pflex job builder. So the pflex is for checking the head of the branches, and the try is to try the pull requests, and the job is for running the subjobs. So first, in order to show you what is going on, I will just do a force pflex to build the tip of the branch. So it will just create a worker, preparing the worker, and then it starts building. It clones the Git repository and then triggered subbuild. So here we only have one subbuild because the travis.yaml is very simple. Okay, this is just pip install -u pip to upgrade pip. Then we install twisted and we install the current Git repository, and then we run trial pflex. So very simple travis.yaml. So it has finished to run, and I can see all the steps that happen. They are all green, so we are fine. Now what I want to do is to create a pull request that will do another test in parallel. So first I want to configure the pull request hook. So for that I will go to the webhooks, and I will create a new webhooks in buildbot pflex, okay, which is the repository I want to use. Okay, and the payload URL. So the payload URL, it's my IP address, and then I go to the blog, make sure that this is the one. Token hooks new. So okay, GitHub. So I don't want to have only the push event. I want also to build my pull request. So I select individual events. So I want the pushes and the pull request. Let's go. I add the webhook, and it tells me, okay, last delivery was successful, because when you create webhooks, it will just send one JSON with nothing in it. So here I just have a ping event, GitHub event equal ping. So this is the log of my buildbot. So I just see the ping. So that's it. It looked like it's working. So now what I will do is to just edit my bb-config file. Okay, bb-travis. So this is the current one, but I want to add some more matrix. So I already have prepared that. So I will do git dash apply, and this is my new one. So I create a matrix with two rows, one with the test equal trial and another with the test equal lint. And then I can easily say that I have two scripts and the same installation. So this is the same as before, but I have two scripts, and those two scripts they will run in parallel. And when the test equal trial, I will just run trial pflex, and when test equal lint, I will do the linting with pflex. So pflex pflex. Looks good. And first I want to see that my Travis YAML is fine. I don't want to push it into a pull request and then wait for buildbot to answer, even if it's quite quick. I want to be able to test it locally. So what I will do is to just install pip install buildbot Travis on my local environment. And buildbot Travis, it comes with the full feature buildbot that is not really needed, but this is not too much of a problem of installing it. And it also comes with a bb-travis command line. And bb-travis, it has two options. So either you want to create a master, so it will create a master for you very easily. We can do that in another video. And we can also run the current buildbot-travis configuration. So buildbot-travis run. I want to do two jobs in parallel, so -G2 like for make, and then that's it. And it will look at the current directory for bb-travis.yaml or travis.yaml file and parse it. And here it says, okay, I will run the tests equal 12 and the test equal lint. I'm okay with it. So let's go. So in parallel, you can see that it will run the two tests in parallel, and I can test it. Okay, pip install twisted. Okay, the trial is good. It puts me a bunch of errors here because this one is marked to do, and this one also is marked to do, but this is good enough for now. Results equals 0, so the lint is good also. So looks good. So I will commit this, use, so implement two tests with a matrix. And I push my branch. Let's go. Now it's available. Normally over here, we'll make a new name, Travis2. Okay, bb-travis2. Let's do the pull request. So here I change the base repository to buildbot in order not to annoy the original upstream container, and then I can look that it's my commit with my change of the bb-travis, and I create my pull request. And normally I will be able to see buildbot starting to test this. Yeah, I can see it. So here you can see that there is a status that is sent by myself. Okay, this is tardp here, and because I created the access token under my name. Okay, so this is the same user that the access token belongs to, and I have one successful check that has been run. But actually what I want to do is to say I have two checks that have run, the one for lint and the one for trial. So what I can do is to change the setting. Here the administration project, here we put reporter tile to be always the same, but what I want to do is to put a different tile when the test is different. So this is explain buildbot first, and we can see here that you just have to put reporter tile, and automatically it will do bb for the main job and slash test for all the subtests of the matrix. So let's go ahead. We do this. We save. It's reconfigured, and then we can relaunch your test. So there are several ways to relaunch the test. So we can just close the pull request and reopen the pull request, or we can go to the buildbot and do rebuild. So this is a similar way of doing another build. So here I be able to see the update live. Okay, so here I see three reports, one for the lint, one for the trial, and this one BB is for the overall result. So it finishes when the trial and the lint have finished. And now it's done. So we have all the 4 checks. So the buildbot, which was the whole report, and here the BB lint and the BB trial. Okay, so I think this is all I wanted to see in this video. So thank you for listening, and have a nice day.